I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday morning, a beginning of your weekend. You got a chance to sleep in past 5 o'clock in the morning. Woo! And now you're getting ready to go out and maybe spend some time with your family, preparing for Sunday. Who knows what you might be doing today? But I pray that it is a beautiful and blessed day. We are here for morning meditations. I promise not to hold you more than 8 minutes this morning. We are talking about following Jesus. We've looked at the calling of several of the disciples. And one of the things that kind of reigned clear in every one of those particular settings is that Jesus says two words to them. And those two words are follow me. So, what did we decide that, that particular um, passage or that particular phrase meant? Let me get to it. I know I have it here in my little scrolling notes, y'all. But he says, follow me, which is akalateos, there you go, akalateos in Greek. And akalateos means to move behind someone in the same direction, to come after, to follow or accompany someone who takes the lead, to accompany, to go along with. And so Jesus was inviting each of the disciples to come with him, to accompany him, to follow his lead. In essence, the rabbis in the biblical days were saying, follow me so closely that the dust that comes up from my feet settles on you. Wow. So, in other words, leave everything that you know and secure yourself to me. And so here we're looking today at Judas. This is a difficult one for me, guys. Of course, there's no specific place that Jesus actually says, follow me to Judas. And it's kind of one of those mysterious things. As I was researching, there are historians that through other writings say that Nathaniel invited Judas to follow Jesus. But we do know this, that Jesus considered him one of the 12 disciples. He considered him in that circle. There were circles, the huge circle, the crowd, over 10, 11,000 at once. Then there were the 72 that he sent out. And then there were the 12 that followed him and walked with him daily. And then there were the three that were the inner circle. So we do know that scripture says Judas was a part of that 12. How do I know? Let's look at Matthew chapter 10, verse 1 through 5. Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and heal every disease and sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector, James, son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. So, what we do know is that Jesus considered Judas one of the 12. Good morning, Tony. So good to have you in the room this morning. But he considered Judas one of the 12. Judas Iscariot, we know that Judas, his name meant beloved of God. Wow. So his name does not give way to his lifestyle at all. We go on to see as well that Judas followed Jesus closely and he became the person who held the money bags. I don't know if you guys have been watching The Chosen, but I just thought it was really interesting how they showed Judas becoming a part of the 12. They show the setting where Jesus is given the Sermon on the Mount and he's laying out some of the Beatitudes and, just really driving the message of living for him and following him, what it really looks like. And Judas is there and he hears this and it shows him saying, Rabbi, teacher, I'd like to become one of your followers. I don't know. The Bible's not really clear on that. But I can imagine that someone whose heart was not quite right would pursue Jesus as opposed to Jesus pursuing him. But anyway, as we move on, people say, well, was Judas marked to die from the very beginning? Was he the one who was called to betray Jesus and there was just no hope for Judas? There's always hope. We're given free will to choose. I look at it more like, instead of saying, was Judas called to betray Jesus, as in Jesus saw and knew the very heart of Judas. He knew that Judas' heart was not pure and that he was conniving, really. It says, historians say that Judas was born wealthy and that at some point his parents disowned him or pushed him away or pretty much told him, you got to fend for yourself. And so, in that effort, was he trying to say, well, if my parents aren't going to take care of me, I don't really have any skills, but I know how to manipulate? I don't know. But we do know this: Jesus knew the very heart of Judas, that no matter how much teaching, no matter how much reaching he did, Judas's heart just was not there. Today, Judas serves to me as a cautionary tale. Where is your heart? When Jesus invites us to follow him, when we say, Lord, I yield, I give my life to you, do we really mean it? Is there any ulterior motive in our heart? Is there something we're trying to get out of it instead of something we're trying to bring to it? Whew, big questions. But we do know this: Jesus considered Judas one of the 12. And in Psalms, we know that there was a story of what would happen. Psalms 41:9 says, even my close friend in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted up his heel against me. Jesus knew who would betray him. Many times he said it. He even at one point, when he talked about them having to eat his flesh and drink his blood, and there were people who were listening to that message who walked away and said, "Whoo, that's just too hard. We're not going to be cannibals." They weren't listening to the spiritual implications. They were listening to the fleshly implications of taking someone's body and physically eating it. And Jesus turns and he says to the 12, will you leave me too? And Peter, my boy, says, where do we go? There's no one else who has the words of life. You are the only one. Judas had an opportunity then to turn and leave and go. We don't know what his heart was. I don't. But we know what the outcome of that heart was. He betrayed Jesus. He became indignant, it says, when Jesus was anointed by Mary. Couldn't she have sold that and given the money to the poor? We know he was stealing out of the money bag. That's clear in the scripture. So he wasn't worried about the poor. What he was saying is, now you taking money that I can't skim off. So it appears that Judas's heart never really let the gospel sink in and transform him. So today I say, check your heart. See what is in there. Is it really for Christ? Whew, that's heavy. So follow him, y'all. Follow me as I follow him. Whew. It is Saturday and the Sunday is coming, and if you don't have a place to worship, I invite you to come to Radiant Church here in Savannah, Georgia. We're located on Skidaway, 2204 Skidaway Road, and you're invited to come and be a part of what God is doing in the earth today at Radiant Church. And my prayer for you is that your heart will truly be for Jesus and that you truly will follow him no matter what temptations come, no matter what trials come, no matter what hurts or pains or any of that comes. Follow him. Have a beautiful Saturday.